can be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me. And I can't hold it much longer. Gonna let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
How we doing, everyone? FT Live at Borgata in Atlantic City. Scotty Braun, Todd Frazier, Erik Kratz. I feel like I always blink, and then we're back here.
We're here.
Yeah.
It
Why are you
happened
pointing at yourself?
every 2 weeks because you said my name.
Oh,
Just wanted people to make sure they knew the difference between
You
Todd
made me
and
think
me.
I said your name wrong.
Yeah, but you
No,
point
no.
like this. It's this. You want like this.
Yeah.
What?
No, that's the signal for I want to say something.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, we just started. You got 2 hours, okay? So we're here until 3 o'clock Eastern. Hello to everyone watching on Stadium, and then hour number 2, of course, on the FT YouTube channel. It is trade deadline season, and guest list today, Corbin Burnes is going to join us in about 15 minutes. Avila, former general manager of the Detroit Tigers, in about an hour, and then Kiké Hernández just got traded to the Dodgers, and he'll join us in about an hour and a half. So looking forward to Kiké, especially since he just got dealt, and life's been nuts. Just like yesterday, we get Lance Lynn before he's getting dealt over the next 3 days, probably. We get Kiké right afterwards. It's been a blur for him, but he gets to go back to LA. So looking forward to that. Let's dive right in because we've got trades. Let's charge the damn mound, baby. David Robertson helps the Mets. Actually, I wish I could take Todd's shirt. Do this. You know what they're doing?
Waving the towel.
That's it.
White flag.
Our season's over. Most expensive payroll of all time. It's done. They trade away their closer, who's having an incredible season, and now he'll continue that with the Miami Marlins within the division. Team that doesn't spend much, that's had a pretty good year. They've slipped a little lately, Todd Father, but Marlins are going for it, and the Mets are done.
Yeah, I think this is an easy trade for the Marlins. I mean, this is no-brainer. David, I know he's older in his prime. He's not in his prime, but he's still doing it like he is in his prime.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great dude. He's a great clubhouse guy. They're going to love him down there. And you don't even necessarily need him to be a closer, too. He can go in any inning. He's not afraid to jump in and be a couple-inning reliever, the closer. He just wants to win, and especially where he's at in his age, wants to get another title.
He definitely does. I'm glad to see. I looked up the rosters that nobody has number 30 because he's going to take number 30.
Go.
And I gave him a hard time last year when he got traded to the Phillies because he didn't pay for his number 30. And I was giving every time I saw him, I gave him a hard time
30?
for it. I think Edmundo Sosa, and he had just gotten there.
He's got
right
those alligator
before.
arms, David.
He's got them short arms.
He's his own agent. He doesn't pay the agent fee
because that's a cost. It's smart, but it's a cost.
Yeah.
And he's going to really help that team with Puck. Obviously, when you're a closer, you're going to give up big home runs, and people are going to remember those. Puck's done well.
Mm-hmm.
He's hit a little bump in the road right now, and I think this will help him get over it. I don't know how they're going to deploy him. If it's going to be like, this is a spot in the 8th inning for you today. This is a spot because really he doesn't need more saves.
No.
D-Rob doesn't, so it'll be awesome for him.
And I don't think he cares, honestly,
He
knowing
wants to
who
win.
he is.
For sure.
Like, he's not one of those guys like, well, I'm on this team. I'm the closer now. No. He wants to get in the playoffs and make a dive and, get those juices flowing again.
Marlins are mixing and matching with their bullpen right now. Remember, a few days ago they picked up Jorge Lopez, who was an all-star closer last year for the Orioles, gets traded to the Twins, doesn't work out well for him there. He was having a pretty rocky season, but the upside's there. They have another year of control with him. So he moves over to the Marlins. Now you've got D-Rob. Okay, I like what the Marlins are doing here with their bullpen, and I like that they're finally saying enough. How long can we just kind of sit there and let everyone else do things? This team has pitching. Now they've got relief pitching, too, to go along with the rotation. I love it, but I need a little more. Like, if you're doing this now and you think you've got a shot at a wild card, which I do think they do, then you need to show me a little more on offense. Because right now, they live and die off my dude, Luis Arraez. If he's not hitting 400, the offense kind of disappears. Soler, too, who's super streaky, right? He's super streaky. You just need more, though. I need one, if not two, bats that are going to make an impact with this ball club right now if I'm Miami.
I love Brian De La Cruz. I think Brian De La Cruz is maybe more of a linchpin than I think those other two guys because you sit there and you go, Okay, how do we get a rise out? Well, there's really no way. It doesn't really matter. He's just going to hit singles, no value. Soler is a guy that you can't let him beat you late in the game, and I think that's where De La Cruz comes in, and I think his ability to hit both sides, I think he's doing a decent job of driving off-speed pitches to the right center field, which when he's not doing that earlier in his career, he's like 6 years old, but he was trying to pull everything, and he's got ridiculous pop, but it's more like line drive pop, and it's just rockets out of the ballpark.
I'm thinking if somehow the Cubs lose the next few games, if I'm the Marlins, Bellinger is such
One
a
of the-
fit there.
One of the 10
That's the
teams.
tippy top of the market.
One
But
of the 10
otherwise,
teams.
yeah, but otherwise, Candelario, somebody like that, because there's not like this great mix of bats that's available right now. I'd still look Candelario for my infield. I want two bats if I'm Miami. Candelario, and then I want an outfielder. And there are about probably 8-ish outfielders that we know that are going to get moved beyond if Cody happens or not. But a Grichuk, a Pham, Canna, might have to call the Mets back and ask them about one of their bats. But I need one more if I'm Miami. So
I think there's going to be a little bidding in the East, because it's rare that you see that the trading in the divisions. I want to ask Avila about it when he's on, but in the division, it's kind of like he went to the Marlins. That's one thing, but will the Mets trade Pham to the Phillies?
They would.
Are they going to make the Phillies overpay?
I think
you got to try.
You're looking for prospects. So let's cover the Mets for a minute here. So first off, they did not cover any money on this one. They said, "Hey, Miami, like we give you enough revenue sharing and all this stuff. You can cover the rest of his money on his deal, which is about $3.5 million. Okay, for a guy who's having an incredible season. He's got a low 2s ERA. The Mets have the highest payroll ever. They pick up two guys that are not helping them for years, which some people found interesting. I didn't, because a team like the Cardinals, they're in their moves apparently asking for guys that are going to help like next year. The Mets are like, give me the highest upside. So they're taking two guys. One's 18 years old, Marco Vargas. One's 19 years old, and Ronald Hernandez. Because the Mets don't have a deep farm system, Steve Cohen's goal is to be the Dodgers. If you want to be the Dodgers, you have a ton of work to do with your farm system. So I'm okay with what they're doing. Every trade doesn't need to be, oh, here's a guy in AAA that's going to help us next year. Or here's a guy at the end of a roster that's not playing as much. Are you good with that?
Yeah, you have to be good with it, because they're not willing to pay down any of the money. So you're going to get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. Like, you get those young guys, and to me, I think this is something that's really glossed over a lot. We don't talk about get the guy in your system and create a culture. What is the Mets minor league culture? I know what the Dodgers minor league culture is. They've said it, and if you don't attain to that, if you're not measuring up to that culture, and it really has less to do with your baseball skills and more to do with like how you're going to prepare. What are you going to do? Like, this one guy's a catcher. Who's your catching coordinator for the Mets? What's he going to do with this guy? Is this the type of guy that he wants? Or are they just like, hey, I want you to take Todd Frazier. Well, he's not even a catcher. Well, make him a catcher.
Yeah.
That doesn't help. So you got to have – it takes time to make those changes in the minor leagues, and I think you have to see that as how you develop these guys. They're 18 and 19 years old. Best case scenario, they're in the big leagues in 5 years. Not now.
And that's fine. Okay, so here's the other part for the Mets, right? Now let's move to Mark Feinsand reporting that there is a growing belief within the industry that Justin Verlander could be traded by Tuesday. Wait, what?
Wow.
I just heard JV, after his last great start, essentially say, I'm not going anywhere. I felt like he said, I have a no trade clause and nobody's talked to me right now. There's the tweet. Which teams could be in the mix? He also said the latest on Arenado, which we'll get to in a moment from him. But for JV, names like the Astros, a return there, the Rangers, who need starting pitching. There are 10-plus teams that need starters. JV has to approve it, though. He's not going anywhere. Do you think that he will approve a trade to go somewhere right now? I wonder if the Mets are putting a little public pressure on him right now, because you're now on a team that clearly is not a playoff contender this year. And if they agree to a deal and then go to him and he says no, then you're going to piss off the fan base that knows they could have had him. and you're going to try to put it on his reputation that he doesn't want to go to a winner. He wants to chill in New York right now. Do you feel that way at all? Because the fans look at it that way if it's going out there publicly. So give me the player perspective.
I think this is out there from my opinion. I honestly think that maybe there's something that the Mets might get back. Like, I think, honestly, somebody's talking like, we want him, so why not put this out there, maybe get the wheel spinning in his mind a little bit. Like, listen, I know you might not want to go to this team, but there's talks right now about getting you. They've already traded Robertson, as we know. This is a very good pitcher. I don't care how old he is. He's like a fine wine, in my opinion. I think he's dominant still. Mm-hmm. I think Verlander said all the right things, but I think he would go. I think he would, just because as we get older, as baseball players get older, especially Erik, he's really old. But as we get older, we just want to win championships. And I think that's where he's at in his career. The money's great, don't get me wrong, but championships are what you want to do. And right now, the Mets aren't in contention to do that. So why not at least give it a consideration to do it?
Okay, can I do our acting scenario that's become very popular here?
As long as you use your voice and not
someone else's.
And not a AJ voice.
I'll be Billy Epler, okay?
Okay, Billy Epler.
I'll try and just talk normal. Hey, JV, Billy Epler here. We're sitting, hanging out, maybe having a beer after a game. You didn't pitch that game. What's going on? We just traded David Robertson, JV. So it's over. This season's done. If you didn't know already, team's not good enough, okay? And we're building for the future. Now, you have a contract that carries you not just through next year, but there's an option there if you hit your innings, which you're going to hit, that carries you the year after that. I know you said the other day you want to stay here, but we could get a lot for you, and we're feeling like this is the best move for the franchise. Would you be okay with waiving your no-trade clause?
Hang on one sec.
What are you doing? Are you texting your wife?
Kate is.
Put your phone down.
I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm way older than Todd was when he quit playing. So I came here because the Mets are going to win. Maybe not this year. The Mets are going to win the next 2 years because I'm definitely going to get my 140 innings because really the only reason I'm still playing is because I want to be a Hall of Famer. I want to have a slam dunk Hall of Fame candidacy. I'm pretty good at just going out and getting my innings here. So I'm fine not winning this year. We got a shot at winning the next 2 years. I'm still on board with you. And, Billy, you're probably getting fired, so I'm on board with Cohen. So if you really want to trade me, tell him to come and call me.
Okay. Ooh. Here's Cohen. Hey, what's going on? So it's not working out this year. We love you, but now we also just told you that we essentially have a trade in place for you. So you're probably feeling a little mixed about how the organization feels about you, even though you know you're good. Can we give you anything that will convince you to send you back to Houston? It'll be a great story. You'll win the World Series again. You'll be the hero there all over again. Your legacy will go from here up to here.
Kate just responded and said, if we can lock in the
option year.
What, babe? What? Oh, if we can lock in my option year and not make it vesting, I'll go to Houston.
Done. Locking in the vesting option. Mets will pick up a little bit of that money because it's insane, and we move them.
I don't think the championship is as high up as it would be for you.
Okay.
As it would be for nothing against him. He's won a championship.
2, right?
Yeah, with
Houston. He's won 2 he won both.
Was he there the first one? I didn't think he was there yet for the first one. Or no.
That year he came over.
It was that year.
So he came over that year. They won.
And then he won last year.
And then he won last year.
That's right. I forgot because of the.
Remember, and then he was in the World Series way back in the day with Detroit, but he lost.
And he threw the ball away at third base, and that was a debacle. But anyway, you're right. But I don't think that's his 100% motivation. You're gonna go to a team that wants to win because you're a winning player, yes. But I think right now it's about his candidacy and solidifying that. Not saying he has to or he doesn't have to. He can still do it, so I think he wants to.
Okay, one more scenario from Fine Sand here. He's been all over the agents and the no-trade clauses. He said, spoke with Joel Wolf, who represents Nolan Arenado. He declined to get into specifics about the LA Times report regarding the Cardinals-Dodgers talks, but he did say the idea that Arenado would only waive his no-trade clause for the Dodgers was inaccurate.
Meaning that there's more teams he would waive it to, or that he wouldn't waive it? I take that as he would waive it to other teams. The whole only to the Dodgers. I don't
I think it's to other
Yeah.
teams. From what I heard, it's to other teams. Does that make sense? Like, it's
Meaning
not
he,
just the Dodgers.
right.
If
Yes.
there was another fit, he would consider
You
that as well.
consider. You always have to consider.
But you know
He
what's
would
crazy?
definitely consider.
He could have opted out of his deal a year ago. He decided to stay with St. Louis.
Yep.
Some people thought he probably could have gotten more,
He could have.
and instead he stays with the ball club that now he's willing to leave because he doesn't have to leave.
He just wants to win. I think he wants to win. I see a fire and hunger in him that is different than a pitcher's fire and hunger. It's completely different. The guy plays once every 5 days. Arenado's out there. When he's like a baseball nerd, he wants to be on a championship team. And if the Cardinals are saying, we're good, probably not. He's probably totally fine with going somewhere else. I don't think he doesn't answer the question going to the
It
Dodgers.
doesn't have to be LA. I know we know he's always wanted to be back in California, but he would go somewhere else too.
To win?
To win, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely. If the Cardinals approach him and say, look, we're getting rid of Gorman, we're getting rid of, we're even listening to Goldie,
Yeah.
we're getting rid of 2 of our pitchers. These guys are there for X amount of years. I don't know how many more years Arenado has. They're not looking at it as a 1-year thing. They're looking at it as a 2, 4, 5-year commitment. And if the Cardinals don't have any starting pitching, he could be like, man, I'd love to bat against the Cardinals rotation.
Without a doubt.
And if we're not gonna put a team out there, I can't just keep squandering my time away. Not that the Cardinals can't win. I think he could see the writing on the wall. You see more inner workings during the season than we do as fans.
No doubt.
Okay.
No doubt.
So let's get to Corbin Burnes when we swing back on Stadium. First, our poll question. And also, I know there was the Carlos Santana trade. We'll get to that because there's a funny story around that. So coming soon. But the hitter you would be most excited to add to your team that we're hearing trade rumors about. We'll give you 4 options here. QR code on your screen if you want to get involved with the poll. It's free $99 to vote. Nolan Arenado, Jeimer Candelario, Tim Anderson, Cody Bellinger. Who do you want for your ball club? Also, watchstadium.com/foul territory, another way to get involved in the poll. We'll come back with Corbin Burnes, who's not going anywhere. Because first, things took over when Tom Verducci came out and said the Angels aren't trading Ohtani and they're going to add. Let's charge the damn mound about it. Now, he's not the first person that threw that out there. Ken, who we'll talk to in just a moment, also has been saying that pretty much the entire time. Like, Ken's going, I don't know if that would be me, but I don't see Ohtani getting moved. Now, step 2, Todd Father, Lucas Giolito joined the party. Reynaldo Lopez joined the party. And they give up essentially their top 2 prospects for a team that doesn't have much of a farm system. Guess what? There's no tomorrow. Because after this year, if Ohtani's not back, they're probably in a big-ass rebuild mode for your boy Trout because they don't have a ton of great prospects. These 2 dudes are their top 2 players in the minor leagues right now. They're both gone. A catcher, I get it. They have one already. And then a pitcher who's had his ups and downs, but they're both super young and they're in Double-A. And here we go. Does this put them over the top? Are they a playoff team now?
Not necessarily, no. I don't think they are right now just with those trades. I think it's exciting for Anaheim to see, all right, everybody's like, oh, they got to make a move. Well, I thought they should have traded Ohtani, man. Not even necessarily saying, because I always said bring him to the East Coast because I want to see him play more. They are missing out on one of the biggest trade opportunities in this lifetime of getting a plethora, and I mean a plethora of people back, whether it's draft picks, whether it's top prospects, whomever. I don't think this is what they should have done. I don't think this is going to get them over the hump to win a World Series.
And now back to foul territory.
City, Scotty Braun, Eric Kratz, Todd Frazier, and Charlotte's Web Player Access, sponsored by Recreate, connecting us with Corbin Burnes. How we doing, Corbin? Can we get a real quick hat check before we begin our conversation here? Well, no, how we doing? Like, I want to get a hair update. How we doing here?
It didn't grow back in no time.
Wow,
No,
it's happening
not
fast.
Yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
Is that a side part? Is that a side part?
It's just like the hat, like hair.
I mean, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do when the hat's not on? Like, are we getting a little like curly Q coming down? Are we getting?
I like that. That's like a thing. The TikTok
I don't,
influencers are big on that. There's like one curl that goes down the middle.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to style my hair. Usually, I just pull it back in a bun. So I'm gonna need help. I can maybe ask Kratz for that.
You know, I'm your guy.
Hey, Corbin. So let's start with Carlos Santana. We saved that one for you. So he's been around the league for a while. He actually had a big week watching him for the Pirates smash the Padres with a few home runs. Bless you, Mr. Frazier. What do you think about the addition for the ball club? And is he there yet?
Yeah, we're excited. Obviously, that's the kind of bat, the defense he brings. That definitely will go right in the middle of our lineup. But I think more importantly, it's a veteran, presence that a guy we've played against, many years, and we know he's a great guy, so he's gonna be a great addition to the clubhouse. But yeah, definitely excited. I haven't seen him yet. I'm not sure if he'll be here either today or tomorrow, but we should see him some point here in Atlanta.
Are you juiced about having him on the team or not having to face him when he's on the Pirates?
A little bit of both. That's for sure. He definitely crushed us when we were in Pittsburgh last. He hit that walk-off homer. But yeah, definitely nice to have him, but also definitely nice to not to face him.
Is he an annoying guy to face because for years he just spits at any pitch that's outside the zone? It's like those few guys in the league that know how to take a walk. They actually have better eyes than most umpires, like a Muncy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the play discipline guys are definitely guys that you're aware of in the lineup, just because that hey, you got to come in the zone, and then usually those guys also have quite a bit of pop as well. So it definitely makes it a tough AB. But yeah, just the ability to work the count, get on base, doesn't punch out a lot. Just gives you a tough out in the lineup.
Hey, did you hear about him napping? He was sleeping, didn't even know he got traded. His wife came up to him, tapped him on the shoulder, and said, "Listen, you just got traded." That's got to be one of the most unique ways of finding out. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I haven't heard that yet. I'm sure he'll tell us. I know they had I was talking to Christian yesterday. He said they came back from San Diego, got back at like 3 or 4 in the morning. So I'm sure he was probably still sleeping. But yeah, that'll be a fun story to hear for sure.
So what's next, Corbin, for the ball club? I know they're still looking for offense. I've listened to GM Matt Arnold talking about the ball club. The pitching and run prevention seems to be intact. I also thought this was interesting. He said, yeah, acquiring bats is cool, but sometimes if you're too focused on a bat, you got to consider his glove as well, and we don't want to hurt the defense and the run prevention at all. I don't usually hear an answer like that. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we've pitched ball all year. We've played great defense all year. I think we're tops in the league in defense. So obviously, you don't want to disrupt that. Being a pitcher, you love having that behind you. So that's always good to hear. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what we got coming to us the rest of this deadline. But I've heard names that we've been attached to. So you never know what's true. Never know what's fake. But yeah, I'd imagine we at least get another guy or two and help the team. But it's definitely good to hear that that the defense and pitching is kind of a priority and not going to disrupt that. So that's nice to hear.
Hey, my question to you this year: you guys dominated the Reds, man. It's just been unbelievable. Kind of frustrating because I'm a monster Reds fan, to be honest. But what is there just something that you guys got on them? It just seems like every time you play them, it's just like, all right, it's going to be a one-run game. You're going to win every time. So, I mean, just one of those weird seasons to have, or just something that, has been going on?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what it is. Every time we face them, we've seen them throw the ball well. I don't know if it's if our pitching staff matches up well against their lineup. Obviously, how the Reds win is they score a bunch of runs. So, we went in and it always happened to be when we were throwing the ball well, playing good defense, and so we were able to kind of hold that offense to just a couple of runs. So, I feel like when we can do that and play good defense, we're going to have a good chance to win, most of the time. So it just so happened that the way that lineup is structured and the way we pitch and our bullpen was lined up and rested, that we happened pitch really well. And yeah, like I said, it was a lot of 1-run games, a lot of close games, but we were also able to shut him out a bunch of times, which we were pretty proud of.
What did you think of the whole scoreboard thing with Ellie De La Cruz, the scoreboard saying almost hit the home run, then he hits a 3-run home run, then he says we have no further comments at this time.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff they put up there is pretty funny, but yeah, I mean, why give a guy ammo and the extra adrenaline or the want to kind of shove it down your throat? So, I think the trivia they do is cool. Obviously, you don't have to go that far and say some dumb stuff and fire a team up, but yeah, I mean, at least they owned up to it and didn't do anything the rest of the week.
You think it really fired him up? You think Ellie was like, man, I struck out. What is the score? Wait, you serious? I'm going to do extra.
I'm not sure if he saw it, but I'm sure a lot of the guys in the dugout saw it and probably told him like, "Hey, they're talking shit on the scoreboard." So I don't know if that means, "Hey, okay, I'm going to try harder" or what.
No.
But it might give him that little extra fire of like, "Hey, you know what? Screw these guys. If I'm going to hit it, I might as well hit it out." And he hit it well.
Corbin, it's a good thing I'm not playing anymore because if I stood in the batter's box and I stood up there and I was like, Burnes, you're going to throw that Bobo cutter right into my bat speed and I'm going to take you deep. You're not going to be like, what? Oh, here I go. I'm throwing this cutter harder. No, you're still going to try to get me out the same way, right?
Maybe I might try to throw the cutter a little harder. I do that every now and then.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Lean into it a little bit.
Yeah, motivation's real.
Yeah, or run the sinker way in. I don't know. Just do something.
You're not running.
Something.
You're not running the sinker in on me. You're not running the sinker on me. That's my bat path. I'm hitting that sinker.
He's running it on me though.
Straight it. You're throwing him a sinker in. You're throwing me cutters away. I'm a swing and roll over on your cutter, but I'm taking your sinker deep. Short swing, just in and out of the zone. See ya.
Hey, are the Reds? I mean, you might not want to say it like I say it, but are the Reds overrated? Freddie Peralta, when he was on with us, said the Pirates are a tougher matchup for the Brewers.
I don't know. I guess it kind of depends on when you catch the Reds. We they came in hot against us twice, and we kind of held their lineup to nothing. So I wouldn't say that the Pirates are a tougher matchup. I think it just depends on kind of the time you're running into a team. We played the Pirates after they had kind of cooled off after their hot start. And I mean, there's a lot of good players in that Reds lineup, that's for sure. But there are also a lot of young guys, and so we managed to find ways to get them out and kind of held them to minimal damage. So yeah, I wouldn't say that the Pirates are a superior team than the Reds. Obviously, the standings can say differently, but I just think that we managed to pitch really well against the Reds and found ways to get those young guys out.
Is that because Walker has a good game plan that he sets up for you guys? Walker and BP, Brian.
Yeah. Walker, it's changeup's a good option. It's always changeup's good. So that's
changeup's
Walker. Good. Yeah, he loves the changeup, and I if everyone threw a Devin Williams changeup, I'm pretty sure the changeup would be good to anyone. But I'm not going to go in there and throw my changeup to some of these guys. So. It's fun though. He gets fired up. He gets going of ways that you can get guys out, and he is pretty good at seeing things. But it's it's funny. That's always his go-to is the changeup.
Yeah, but don't give him all the credit. It's BP. Polish he's in the back. He's in the back doing his stuff. But anyway, I texted Matt Arnold yesterday.
Did you really?
I did, because I want him to come on the show because we need a GM on the show to talk about what's going on. I know he's busy. Did he come up to you and tell you you're not getting traded?
It just so happened that we were having lunch in New York when we were playing the Mets. Gosh, a couple weeks ago, I was sitting there with Wade. He happened to come in there to grab some lunch, and he sat down at the table with us, and we were just talking about the trade deadline, and I think they were talking about Arenado or Goldschmidt or something on the TV, and Wade hit him with a, hey, Matt. Just trade for Goldie and Arenado will be good. Like, whatever, that's fine. And he kind of laughs and he goes, yeah, I don't know what it would take to get them. We'd probably have to trade Burnes. And Wade's like, yeah, well, we don't want to do that. And Matt's like, oh, no. Like, there's teams, many teams have called about, me and Willie and some of these other guys. And he's like, we're not doing that. We're not trading you guys. So that was kind of the conversation. And we didn't really talk much more about it, but it was just kind of, it came out of a joke of, hey, just trade for, some of the two best hitters in the league and we should be good. And that's how it kind of came about that I wasn't going to be traded.
Were you on here when we were talking about the trade that they proposed to me back in 18, or was that Big Woo? Because Big Woo's been on here too. You're not the only important.
I think we did. Yeah, we did talk about it. I think you said that you would have traded me.
Yeah, I said I wouldn't have traded you, but I would have traded Big Woo because you have a better personality. But now without the glasses, you don't have a great personality. Does that help? Does that help your clubhouse when Matt Arnold can sit down at the table and talk? Now, obviously, he's not sitting there talking to Sal Frelick and like, hey, Sal, what do you think about this move? But he's talking to guys who are veteran guys and like a person, like we're sitting here at this table. Like this is kind of the reason we have the show. We're talking to a guy that was just told, I'm not getting traded. And yet, if you were getting traded, you would be the biggest piece on the trading market right now. Is that huge help to have a GM like that who's open and communicative to
And
you?
I'll just add this line, who's a person, not a robot, and who connects with other humans that he's part of the organization with. That's important.
Well, is it important?
Yeah. It's definitely nice because, like, obviously from my perspective, I've been here for, this is my 6th year now at the Brewers. Like, they know it. I know what the goal is to win. They know the goal is to win. So when you could sit there and tell me, Willie, whoever it may be, that you're not going anywhere, we're trying to win. Not only does it assure us, but the other guys in the clubhouse see it. They see all the media that comes across, and the media asks questions about it. So just knowing that, hey, we're in this to win it. We're not gonna trade away pieces that would hurt the team now for the future. Like, hey, we're trying to win now. So it's obviously good to know. And Matt's done a good job of coming to the clubhouse and, like I say, having sitting down at lunch and not even trying to start a conversation about it, just happens to come up and he just shoots us straight. So it's good to have that type of relationship. He's talked to me a couple of times. I know he talks to Wade all the time. Maybe he should go talk to Sal. I mean, Sal's the best player in baseball this last 4 days, whatever. He came up and did it all. I mean, shit, we got off the plane and he was sitting first seat on the bus last night on the way to Atlanta. So, I mean, maybe Sal's the guy to go talk to. Who knows?
So wait, so Sal's the best player in the planet, but we had a little issue with his call-up.
Uh-oh.
Okay?
Uh-oh.
So Sweetie called him up, and the picture was him. He still had his eye wash wrist tape on. No shirt, crush and spread. Is that allowed in the Brewers clubhouse?
I've heard there's more video to that they cut it off. And I've heard the rest of the video was even worse than what that was. They cut it and made it look good. You'll have to get Sal on to let him share the rest of that video. But yeah, I guess things are a little different now in AAA down there in Nashville. Maybe it was just really hot and just needed to crush spread in his sliders. I don't know.
Well, who would be the guy that tells him, listen, dude, we don't do that in this clubhouse? Are you that guy or somebody else?
Yelly's pretty good at that. If there's a young pitcher, I'll grab him. Usually Yelly. Obviously, Wade will say anything. Wade's not afraid, but Yelly's been on top of that this year. Just because we've had so many young guys up this year that we have had to do a little more policing than we've had to do in the past. That's for sure.
That's hilarious. That's good. And one fan question.
Yep.
So TJ said, interested to hear Corbin's take on the difference in the clubhouse mood at this year's deadline versus last year's deadline, when, of course, Hader was surprisingly moved. I imagine it's a little more fun this time around.
So far it's definitely been it's been pleasant. We were off yesterday, so we haven't got to talk a ton. Obviously, we were on the plane last night, I'm sure that the chatter in the clubhouse will be a little bit better today than it was at the trade deadline last year.
Very fair. Hey, great to talk to you. Great catching up, Corbin. Keep doing your thing, man. And we'll get you in a few weeks. What?
And tell Matt Arnold to get back to me about my text. It's only 15 minutes. Jiminy Christmas. Come on.
Jiminy.
I'll let him know, and then I'll try to figure out who else we're going to trade for and be like, oh, hey, by the way, Kratz wants to talk to you. So we'll see what he says.
Yeah, he doesn't
Yeah.
have to break the trade on the show.
No, I
He
don't
doesn't
care
have
about-
to.
He can.
He can.
But he doesn't have to. We just want to talk. We just want to rap with a GM, a
Yes.
current GM who's also a dude.
Agreed.
Yep.
Maybe
All right,
we'll
I'll
let him make
know.
one more deal, and then we'll bring him on like Tuesday or Wednesday.
We'll bring him on next time Burns is on and kick Burns off. He's way more important. We want to hear about him.
Only till the deadline. Then he's not that important. Corbin,
that's
great
fair.
to talk to you,
Yeah.
dude. We'll catch you in a few weeks.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you. Corbin Burnes with us on FT Live. And if you're into trying to go to the World Series, this one's for you. Recreate, trying to send you there. You follow at hello_recreate on Instagram for more info. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends really soon. I know I keep saying that, but it ends in 3 days. July 31st. Must be 18 or older to enter. For rules, visit charlottesweb.com/World Series. Recreate is the official CBD of Major League Baseball. And we'll swing back on Stadium in a moment. We are in Atlantic City, so I do want to let everyone know that you can earn up to 20 times slot dollar multipliers every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday through August. Visit theborgata.com for details. Todd Father might hit the tables right after this. I don't know. We'll see. No?
Not today.
Not today? Okay. You're not feeling good today?
I got stuff to do.
Oh,
I
you
gotta
he's
go.
do. He's
stuff
got to
to
make
do.
his calls. What are you trying to find out? Trade information? You trying to be Ken Rosenthal?
He doesn't have stuff to do. He's got to
and we'll go over our poll question too. We have the answers next. The Padres could completely swing around the trade deadline if they suddenly decide to sell and say we're going to be top dog and we're going to get a ton for Snell and Hader and we're going to rebuild. Where are we at as of right now?
I wish I had better answers for you because it's been about for a month now where we kind of weren't sure which direction they'd go, whether it was buying, whether it was selling. You kind of wanted the team's performance to put them in one direction or another, and they haven't. I mean, they lost 3 or 4 in Philadelphia, and it looked like the season was kind of on the brink, and they were going towards cellar, and then they finished that road trip strong, and then they come back home and they lose 2 or 3 to the Pirates. So I think as things stand, there's a possibility for both. There's a possibility the Padres buy and sell. And if they take the avenue of selling, and maybe last night's White Sox-Angels trade kind of sets the market for what you can get for a starter and a reliever, it's a seller's market, and the Padres have 2 of the most intriguing chips. So I would expect with this team, nothing happens imminently. The Padres get as much data as they can on what they have. Maybe wait till after a weekend series against Texas. But if I'm looking at the needle where it stands on the buy-sell scale, I think ever so slightly it's tilted towards sell.
So my question would be is, all right, they do sell. Snell, Hader, they all of a sudden, all right, they're out there to get taken. What are they trying to get back? Have you heard any inkling on that? Is there's anything like really specific that they're like, you know what, we're willing to give this up, but what are you trying to get back? Is it a boatload? Is it just certain person they're looking for? Talk to me.
They're going to want a lot back because those 2 guys are obviously key pieces to 2023, and they haven't given up on 2023. I think the key for what they want back is guys who can help them win either this season or very shortly, because they're going to enter 2024, regardless of how the 23 season finishes, with championship aspirations. It's Juan Soto's final season before free agency. You have Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts still in their primes. You got a pitching staff anchored by Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish. Like, this is a team that should contend next year. It should be contending this year, but that's its own story. So I think they're going to want to get pieces that help fill out their bench, that are controllable. Maybe, I think I mentioned the possibility that they both buy and sell.
And now back to foul territory.
It's pretty.
Back on Stadium, Scotty Braun, Erik Kratz, Todd Father. And let's look at the first poll question answers from everyone else. And who do you think would be the most helpful bat for your squad? This is what I expected. It's pretty close between Arenado and Bellinger. In terms of their current talent level and what they bring to a team, they're a notch ahead of Candelario and TA. No? Easy,
I
right?
would say a notch. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Arenado, which should be number 1.
Easy.
I think Arenado should be that much more than Bellinger. Yes, I get it. Bellinger's hot. You just don't know. You don't know what you're getting. And at least you have
Arenado is
Arenado.
consistent.
Yeah. And
he
he
plays. I mean,
done
Belly
it.
does too, but
plays a Gold Glove third base.
yeah.
No matter where you put Bellinger, it's not going to be as important as a Gold Glove third base.
Agreed. He's got my vote. And then our second poll question, we'll get it going right now. You see that QR code on the left side of your screen on Stadium or watchstadium.com/foul territory. Most surprising trade deadline story thus far. Your options: Ohtani staying, the Angels picking up Giolito, David Robertson to the Marlins, Rosario Syndergaard swap, or other. Okay, most surprising trade deadline story thus far. Check it out. And let's hit a little hot corner right now and look back at yesterday. Speaking of the greatest player in the game, Shohei Ohtani yesterday worked really hard. He pitched in game 1 of the doubleheader against the Tigers, went, I think it was 111 tosses for a one-hit complete game, dominating shutout. And then he stretched, probably didn't even take any swings, showed up for game 2 and hit 2 home runs, and he now is up to 38 home runs as a hitter. He is on pace for 60 home runs, and the worst part of this is he did show that he does have a human body. In the 7th inning, he had to leave the game because of cramping, which, I was glad to see. I'll put it this way. Number one, it's not a serious. That's about the best reason to leave a game. Nothing's really wrong, right?
Yes.
You're fine. Number two, a lot of people, when it's hot out and they feel like they're exerting a lot of energy, they too have cramping. And now Ohtani shows one little trait, one little attribute that shows that he's just like us.
He's not like us. He's not. That's we get cramping because we go out to the beach and forget to drink enough water. Todd gets cramping because his team plays 4 Little League games, and he gets parched, and he's hamstring, a little cramp. Like, I'm probably going to cramp up from putting my foot underneath. He's incredible. And I always look at guys when you're sitting there going, superstars or your everyday players, you're like, oh, you got a day off. Wow, look at how much more fresh he looks out on the field. He got told his team, not even talking about days off or anything like that, he got told his team is going to go all in. And you know what he did? He's like, I will reward you
just like
with
that.
A complete game. Oh, and I'm going to bat for you? I'm going to put points up on the board, 2 of them apiece, just myself. And then his body said, we're going to relax. I love it. He hit it, and he leaned back and was like, you think, oh, oblique.
Yes.
You can't get an oblique when you're that. There's no kryptonite in Detroit. You can't kill Superman.
No, he's an absolute stud. He's an absolute beast. I just love the guy. I got to be honest with you. He's so good for the sport. You see this happen. Everybody's like, oh, man, you can't be a two-way player anymore. The guy just pitched 9 innings, 1 hit ball, 2 home runs the next. That's what you do when you're a kid. And he reminds me of a kid right now, just going out there and playing the game and having fun.
So they're 3 games back. Let's roll the quotes from Ohtani, because Ohtani spoke yesterday, and so did Perry Managian, the
which is rare.
GM.
Ohtani
rarely.
rare.
Ohtani, he speaks
rare.
after his starts. That's why you got him.
But Fletcher said only maybe one. Is it every start?
I heard it's only like 4 times a year.
I thought Fletcher said
it's like once a week-ish, I think. All right, anyway, he said, quote, from the beginning, my plan was to finish the season with the Angels. Nothing is really going to change mentally, but all the people talking about the trades, that's going to be all gone. Feel like I'll just focus on taking this team to the playoffs. There's more. I think this is the first team in my 6 years that we've been buyers. We've been sellers in the last 5 years. So this is new to me. I just want to get to know the new guys and welcome them in and compete all together. I like that, by the way. In season, this is on his future with LA. In season, I don't really like to think about the long-term stuff. Just focus on this season and every game that's in front of me. Obviously, I've been with the Angels my whole career here. I love the fans. I love the team. No complaints. That quote to me about, oh, this is new. I've been in the league for a while. What's winning? What's buying? I thought that was kind of funny. You never can tell really, like, if there's any hidden messages or if he's just like, whatever, let me do my few minutes with the media and keep dominating the world. But obviously, this is what he wanted. He wants to compete for the postseason. What does he care about the Angels sacrificing their future if he's most likely not going to be there anyway?
I don't know if he cares about it or not, but it's going to go into his decision later. And I believe him. He's not even thinking about that right now. He's thinking about what he needs to do the next step, next day. Because every pitcher, especially we have on that we ask about it, they don't ever say, man, I don't know how he could do that. Most of the pitchers are like, oh, I could hit. I could definitely hit. They say, I don't know how he has time to prepare. I don't know how he has time to – so he can't – I think guys lie when they say they don't get caught up in all this stuff. I don't think he has time. I don't think he physically has time to worry about all the extra stuff that's going on. So the fact that new guys are coming into his clubhouse, like he's gotten to meet Moustakas and Eduardo Escobar already, and now he's going to get to meet Giolito and Lopi.
Yep.
Like, I think he truly believes that. I think, like Todd said, he's a kid. He is a kid, and he's still – that's what I was looking up. He's 29.
Yeah.
29, and he's like, oh, this is neat. This is neat. Here we go. Trade deadline.
Just think about it, too. He pitched the game. What do pitchers do afterwards? They ice. They do all the stretching. He didn't have time to do any of that. Hey, get your bat ready. Let's go.
Because it was a 4 o'clock game.
No
it wasn't a 1 and a 7, which may help him. I don't know how his prep is.
No, it was back to back. Hey, listen, just get your bat ready and go hit. You're good.
He's like, oh, this thing?
There's no soreness
Not
after
yet.
going 111?
Not
He's
yet.
too young?
No. I don't think it's right away.
You're saying you feel it a little bit after.
Pitchers
The
always.
thing is, though, remember when he first came into the league, there was this obsession with the schedule and how we're going to give him the day off after this, at the start, whatever. And now, eventually, they threw it out, and he's just like, yeah, every day, whatever, and I'll tell you when I want to play and not play. And he really doesn't miss much.
Who was his manager when he first came into the big leagues?
Joe Madden.
Mike Scioscia.
Oh, was it Soch and then Madden?
Micromanage. And you surround yourself with micromanagers. Now he's like, this is what I can do. Like, can you move? Like, do you mind getting my bat for me? Swinging for me in the on-deck circle, and then I'll swing in the batter's box.
I'm going to flip it up when I hit a homer now, too, when I feel like it.
Like, you're starting to see more swag from him. You're starting to see him play his way.
Yep.
And you don't need that. To the point where, what are the chances they move him to a 5-day rotation with his new team? Because he's still in a 6-day rotation.
I feel like he likes that, but I don't know.
We'll ask him.
Yeah, we'll ask him at some point when we get him. We'll get him. Perry Manasian, by the way, said, we're going to roll the dice and see what happens. I never went up to Shohei and said, hey, we're not trading you. I think I made it pretty clear the last time talking about him in the press, talked. I think that he wasn't going anywhere. I don't know if anybody believed me. This is a special player having a unique season with a chance to win. To me, that's grounds for trying to improve the ball club. Whether it works or doesn't, I can go to bed at night and say, you know what? We did this for the right reasons. We're giving ourselves a chance. And I'm excited to see how we'll play. I'll also add this quote that's going on in Perry's head, because I do think Perry's done a much better job than some of the prior GMs have done there, but this is also added. My owner calls the ultimate shots, and he said, we're not trading him. So that's it.
I would
it's not the same leeway that other front offices have. Alex Anthopoulos goes to the ownership group. They stay out of it. They give him budget and all of that, but they know nothing about baseball, and they don't try to. And they say, do your thing and tell us what you recommend. That's not what's going on here. Perry is helping Artie to come into the 21st century because it's been, 20-something years, but just throwing that out there.
If I was in that, and I'm not good at the whole asking questions thing, I would have asked Perry, hey, did Artie say you're not getting fired if this doesn't go well? Like, if not, Perry's out here Wild West. Like, you want a prospect, you have a prospect, everybody gets a prospect, and we're just taking players. Like, if he's going in, like, saying if Artie says, dude, you're not, like, you better not screw this up. Now it's a little bit different. Now you're playing this a little bit closer to the vest. You're not like, I can't. He seems like he's all in because I assume Artie says, you're not getting fired yet. Like, we're not firing you based on how this goes.
You just got there, too. What, 2 years ago?
That's long for Artie Moreno.
Yeah. I mean, my thing also is, even if there was a new ownership eventually and they started from scratch. I think Perry's done a really nice job, given that you have to work with an owner who's been really difficult to work with for years now. I feel like it's almost house money, where like you can point back and say, "Hey, that one, that wasn't me. That was Artie." You know what I'm saying?
In your interview with the new ownership,
Yeah,
like, hey,
everybody
keep
knows
me
about
around.
Sure.
And Perry he's a chameleon. He can make himself blend into. He used to clean the cleats in the clubhouse with the Blue Jays. So you're talking about a guy that has gone from the bottom, start from the bottom.
Now he's here.
Now he's here.
Yep, exactly. Also, little side note: Jared Walsh was designated for assignment. He was an all-star a couple of years ago. He's had a rough go of things, and he's had thoracic outlet and some neurological issues. So hope that he bounces back somewhere. But he was let go. Neurological.
Really?
Yeah. Vertigo, tremors, a lot of issues for Jared that he's been working through and just hasn't been able to put it all together. So hope that he gets better. Also, coming up next on Stadium, we'll go over our picks here at Borgata, and a reminder that Kiké Hernández is going to join us in hour number 2 on Foul Territory's YouTube channel. So stick around for that. And we're going to cover the Contreras hat beef with Cubs Cardinals soon.
Nowadays, I respect it, and then you throw guys out. That's just dumb. It's just so dumb. Nobody threw a punch. They're talking smack. That's baseball. That's life in general. Okay? But, yes, love the banter. I love the talking smack. I love it. Get under somebody's skin. Throw a bow tie up there. Let them know you're still there. You got to keep them off balance, man. This is baseball. This is why the sport is so much fun to watch.
So what happens next? Like, Kratzy, if you're catching the next matchup between these two, is there anything, or you feel like they both kind of got their words in? Unless someone gets hit, right? Like, kind of unintentionally. But it's not like you're going to your boy like, all right, now we got to get him back again.
That's really, you got to feel the situation. You got to be on the field and understand, are we even? Did we not get even? You talk to Maldonado, and he's like, yeah, I was kind of chirping at him, so that was on me. It backfired. It backfired this time. So that I don't know, but I'm going to give credit to the umpires here, because that pitch to low underneath his chin, they could have just thrown him out. And I felt like they had good feel there. That was not an intent pitch right there. That pitch it ran way far. Yes, it's 97. Yes, it's by his face. But they didn't have to throw Framber out. Dusty threw him out because he brought in a new pitcher. But it was one of those things. I feel like normally we don't give those guys enough credit. They had good feel in that situation, which I think escalated stuff a little bit. Like, why, the Rangers are like, well, we have no recourse now. And what I'm doing the first pitch of the next game, I'm calling a fastball inside, depending on who the pitcher is. But majority of pitchers, if there's warnings out before the game, you've got to throw the first pitch inside. Or else the rest of the game, when you need to go in, they're going to be scared to go in, and that ball's going to leak over the plate, and it's going to be Souvenir City.
Locane, I know you said you like to have your play kind of dictate how you were going to go about your business, but that's how Marcus Semien is. So would you have done what he did there? Because I agree. I don't remember if it was Todd or Kratz said the Rangers, like, they were falling in some games. Now the Astros have their best hitters coming back. They've got some injuries going on. I don't know. Like, you tell me, if you're on a team like this, does it help? Like, the guys are a little fired up. They feel like.
And now back to Foul Territory.
FT Live is back, and we'll wrap up the second poll results. What did you guys think there of the most surprising thing that's gone on storyline-wise at the deadline so far? For most people, Ohtani staying is leading right now. That's for you? For me, I'm going the Syndergaard Rosario trade. Just surprising, but I didn't expect to see it.
That one, and how much they got for Giolito. It's a little bit different vernacular there, but how much the Angels traded for Giolito and Lope. But Rosario, I think those two were the tied. If you spent more time on the show, I was trying to convince everybody, every writer, no, he's got to get traded. And everyone's like, no. Scott Braun, no. And it's disappointing. I agree with you. So it wasn't as surprising to me.
There you go.
Reminder, everyone, we are here at Borgata. The Bet MGM Sportsbook and Bar is where sports fans watch sports. Visit theborgata.com for details and game of the day on the Bet MGM app tonight, Red Sox and Giants. It's the free game of the day streaming right there on the app. Live streaming is available to all Bet MGM customers who are logged in and have funded accounts. So if you want to see Red Sox Giants, boom, there it is. Wherever you are in the country, check that out. And let's get to our Bet MGM locks for Friday. Oh, Thursday was very lucrative. That's all green.
The boys did it.
That was very lucrative. Well, I know some fans have talked about this, and I'm like, be careful because that's a lot of betting going on. But sometimes they're like, oh, I want to parlay all of them because we've had quite a few days lately where everyone goes in the green. It's aggressive, but that would have been very, very lucrative yesterday. So there's where we're at. We are thriving with money bags right now. So your BetMGM locks for a Friday. Todd Father, what do you got?
For me, I'm going to stick with the Washington Nationals Mets low scoring game yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bet the under again, 8.5. I'm real simple, 210 to win 200.
Mm-hmm.
Simple bet. I just don't see much offense happening again today.
Nice. Okay.
Going with the under. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, because you did that yesterday, right?
I did no
No,
runs in the first
he did the
inning.
nerf.
Oh, or no runs first. Yes.
Nerfy.
Which
I like
was
that.
Gray against Senga, and that worked out.
Perfect. No
Pretty well for
runs
you.
were scored until the fifth inning. So
Yeah,
that was beautiful.
that was nice.
Could have done no runs.
Fifth
first
innings.
four. Yeah.
Don't push your
What
luck.
do you got, Kratzy? You got strikeouts?
Of course.
Yes.
Don't say it like it's boring, okay? You got strikeouts, Kratz?
Yeah,
What's that? Yeah, sell it.
Who's striking some
Who we
dudes
making
out
cash?
tonight?
I'll be honest. I didn't put enough research into it. I don't 100% love my pick. I'm just saying it right up front. Dane Dunning, 4 punch-outs. Joe Musgrove, 5. The Tigers strike out a lot, but the Padres strike out even more. I don't love it because I wanted to go higher.
Okay.
So I'm
that's fair.
going plus 135, and I'm putting 200 down to get 270.
And I've got the Jays to win in Giolito's debut and over 5.5 at a parlay there. So just a reminder to everyone, you can get your no-run first inning bet on any MLB game. If you bet no on will there be a run in the first inning, the promotion begins. If your bet loses but only 1 run is scored during the first, you receive a bonus bet equaling your stake up to $25. Bonus bets will be reflected once the wager is settled. Please make sure to read the full terms and conditions. Always bet responsibly. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yeah, my bad. I thought we had. I think.
Gotta let go so I can be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me, and I can't hold it much longer. Gotta let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
How we doing? FT Live, hour number 2 in Atlantic City at Borgata. See, that's what he does. I've been with him all week. Every time the open runs, and then he usually stops like right before we come on camera. So I like that he gave everyone a little inside access.
They're getting excited over there. They're screaming for the horses.
That's Todd's.
I hear that, and I don't even hear you speak anymore. So if I go blank for a second, somebody's horse is either winning or losing.
It's like a little league game when a plane flies over.
Yeah, you just lose
Everybody just
concentration
loses
and
it.
focus for a
It's
little
okay.
bit of time.
God, where are you?
I need you to focus. Baby. All right, so let's do a little spreading rumors. Yeah. Do we know for sure? Oh, hold on.
Kratzy's favorite.
Nice. Do we know for sure if is Judge in the lineup? Like, did they pencil him in? Did they confirm it yet? Why have the Yanks been so mysterious about Judge's return the whole time?
I don't know if it's mysterious. I just think they're trying to be more careful than mysterious. I think they're trying to win ball games. So at the end of the day, they haven't been playing well. It hasn't been fun to watch. You know what I mean? It's been boring games. But the whole Judge thing, I don't think everybody's like, all right, well, they're that excited about it. If you want the truth, like, you haven't heard many people talk about it, especially in this area.
I think it's something that they don't know. I think they've had discussions. I think they have a plan. It's going to take this long. And then they're like, okay, I want you to take many swings against Loizaga. How did that go? And then you're waiting for the next step. How do you feel today? You flew from Tampa. How does that feel? Did the swelling get out of your toe? You wore the shank for 4 days.
Trying to check off those boxes pretty much.
And then I think they're not sitting here going, well, here's the timeline. Because if we give a timeline, why is he not back? Is it bad? This is the worst. What's going on? So no information to me is really where they're at. You sit there, Judge isn't waking up at 6 a.m. going, Booney, I've already run down in the gym at the hotel. I'm good. No. Judge is probably waking up at 10 o'clock. He's rolling out of bed. How does it feel? How does that compare to it feels in the morning? The trainer, Timmy's calling him. Timmy's giving him a call in the morning like, hey, Aaron, how are you feeling? And then he's got to give it. So it's not like a pitcher's rehab where we go, okay, he threw 75 pitches. Next starts in the big leagues on Thursday. Judge might play today. I wish we had more confirmation.
I mean, we'll know
We
in
should
the
know
next
next
couple
couple
hours.
hours.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got to put the lineup card out
Soon.
Well, let me ask you a baseball-y question. So it's his right foot where the toe was the problem, right? He's big on that back foot, of course.
He is.
Generate that power, as most should be, but maybe him even more than others. And I'm just going off of what hitting coaches are saying and all that. I'm not going to act like I know how Judge's swing operates from head to toe, but you can see it, right, with your eyes. So does that mean anything to you for when he comes back? I mean, even 80% of him is a huge help to them, but 100% Judge, like 62 homer pace, I'm on base 40-something% of the time. They need that kind of boost to the offense. So for you, right, like if your toe was smashed, it was messed up.
Yeah.
And I gave you a little more cushion in the what is it, in the sole or whatever. Yeah, well, because they're gonna have that thing wrapped and whatever. He's probably got some fancy thing in his shoe that's set up, and then maybe a little numbness sometimes if there's pain there, because he's not going to be 100% with the toe this year.
No, they're going to do some kind of contraption in his cleat. I mean, I would assume something. I would assume,
right
in the beginning at least.
Yeah.
I've had plantar fasciitis. I've had turf toe. They've given me like this hard half metal insole, half soft insole to put in there. It helped a little bit. Nothing really helped. So either way, if it's your front or your back foot, you need both of them to swing the bat. And it's going to be awkward. I mean, we saw some swings from him. Did he look the same? No, not necessarily, but he's that strong. I don't think he needs every part of his body to hit the ball of the park. It's his presence that's what they need.
That is a presence in the lineup for sure. And I would be more worried about what's going to happen, and this might be part of the timeline thing. What happens after he hits the ball and he's running around the bases? If he's gimping and it starts to wear on another part of his body, you don't want that. So there's a lot going on. I think the turning in the box, I feel like that's such a singular move, same every time. They could probably construct something, like you said, something that maybe doesn't let his toe bend as much. But the biggest worry for me is in the field.
Mm-hmm. Hey, let's get our next guest rolling right now. Avila, former GM of the Tigers, joining us back on FT Live. Al, great to see you. This is your time of year. This is when front offices shine. So, what have you seen so far? What surprised you? And if you want to start with the Ohtani decision with the Angels, then we haven't talked to you since that's all gone down. Go right ahead. What's going on?
Well, I think last time I was on with you guys, I mentioned that I felt that the Angels were going to go for it, that they were going to keep Ohtani, unless obviously something bad happened. And actually, they've been something good's happened because they've won a lot of games, and they're on a good roll right now, just beating the Tigers in a doubleheader yesterday. So those are all good signs on the upswing. And so I think the trade that they just made in acquiring Giolito is really a positive one for them. So I'm excited for the Angels. I think they're in a good spot to make a good run.
Do you think, though, that was the right decision? For me, I could have sworn they were going to get back an astronomical amount of guys, whatever it was. I think this was the time for them to trade him, knowing that he probably is not going to come back next year. I thought he would have got a boatload back, and it would have been just an unbelievable trade piece with prospects and everything else.
Well, prospects are prospects, and there's no guarantee on prospects. And really on what they were going to get back is just speculation. I don't think it really got that far. You got to give credit when a team is trying to win. They've been trying to win for a long time. And trading a guy like Ohtani would be, in my opinion, it could be devastating for a franchise that's trying to win. And they've always had a good fan base. They've always had good support. It's one of the better markets in all of baseball. So there's no reason why they couldn't afford Ohtani. All they have to do is make a few moves here and there to make it happen. And I think in this case, they're proving to Ohtani they're trying to win. They're going to make the team better this year. They're going to go for it, and not only this year but next year. So it gives them, I think, a little more opportunity to continue to be able to sign Ohtani in the future. Obviously, Trout being out of the lineup is not good for them, but I think he'll be back at some point. Hopefully sometime in August. So I think these are positive moves. It's always a double-edged sword when you decide to sell. And you're getting criticized for that, and sometimes those prospects don't always work out either. So, for me, if a team is trying to win and they have a legitimate shot, which they do, it's always a good thing.
Hey, but is that the GM in you talking a little bit, thinking that you might be able to sign him back? Because I just don't see him coming back either way.
Well, when you're up in the open market, anything can happen. But if he likes it there and the team is winning and they can get into a good playoff run and they get into the playoffs, it's a good place to play. Phil Neville is a great manager. I think he's got a good relationship with Ohtani. So there's a lot of positives. So there's no guarantee by any means, but at the very least, okay, you're telling your fan base, we're going for it, number one. Number two, we're going to try to keep this guy around if it's within our power. And number three, if we don't, okay, we're going to continue to be that type of a organization that is going to continue to build to win, to put in a winning product in the field. As a general manager, as a field manager, as a player, it's to say I've invested in that organization for long term, I'm going to feel good about it, as opposed to I'm going to rebuild or I'm going to retool and let's wait till next year or God forbid, 5 years from now. Those are non-guarantees either, So in baseball, there's nothing guaranteed, other than guaranteed contracts.
Yes.
And as a GM, you always want to give those out. You always want to give out the guaranteed contracts. As a GM during this time of year, how much do you communicate what you're hearing and seeing to what is going on?
You guys are freezing.
To give them like a peek into what's going to happen to them or could happen to them.
You froze on me a little bit in between that sentence. I'm not sure where you guys are at. So I think what you're trying to say is your communication between the general manager and the player and players and maybe even your manager, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Every GM and manager relationship is different, but from my experience as a GM, as an assistant GM, and other guys that I've known, the best way to operate as a general manager is to have a really good fluid communication with your field manager, and put him up to speed on what's going on. You want his opinion. I remember back in the day, even with Jim Leland, Jim would tell us, what his thoughts were, and he might even say, "Hey, if we can get that guy, I'd love to have that guy," or he might say, "Hey, I know about that guy. I've heard about him through my friends in the game, and we probably shouldn't be acquiring that guy." So you always want your manager's opinion. You always want to keep your manager, abreast of what's going on. Everything within limits, obviously, because there's certain things that you may not want everybody to know, including your manager. But for the most part, that communication has to be constant, fluid, and very positive. As far as for the players are concerned, every situation is different. I can go back to Verlander, who I had a very close personal relationship with, and even a guy like JD Martinez, and I would keep them abreast of what's going on. Basically, sometimes day to day, sometimes week to week, and just keep them. When you get to the point where you're going to trade the player, it's best to be honest and open with that player. Now, if you don't know that you're going to trade that player or a certain player, then you really shouldn't go ahead and tell him anything, because, quite frankly, you may not trade him. You only may trade the certain guy if all the pieces fall in line. So why go ahead and mention something that probably won't happen or maybe won't happen? So it just depends on the circumstances and the players that you're dealing with.
So let me present a real life scenario. Justin Verlander is hitting his stride now after being injured to start the season, a little bit up and down. Now he's looking like JV. Yes, right? That's your guy. And he pitched really well the other day. Post game, they asked him. He almost seemed like, I don't want to say pissed off, but like, hey, I'm staying here. I signed a multi-year deal. It's technically got next year, and there's an option that he can hit pretty easily to hit his innings. And really, he's got 2.5 years left with the Mets, okay? And he's got the no trade clause. And the media is just asking questions like they should. Now, we see reports surfacing this morning after David Robertson is dealt that Verlander could be dealt, and there are some insiders feeling like it's happening. And I'm like, well, how is it happening? Verlander said he hasn't even spoken to the front office, and he seemed publicly like he didn't want to go anywhere. He's had the titles. He's got all the money. I think he's liking life in New York. So what do you think's going to happen? And also, if you want to play along and almost act as if you are the front office or ownership on the Mets side, what would your conversation be like with JV if you wanted to trade him because you could get a big package? Because this is a seller's market.
Well, first of all, if it's just rumors and there's really no truth to them, if I'm the general manager or the owner in this case, and ownership is different everywhere, because there's some owners, as with the Mets, they're involved. You see them all the time, you hear them all the time. So in that case, the owner should speak to a player, not just the general manager. But there's other cases where the owner is not that involved. He's not that boisterous. You don't see him out in front. They're more silent in the back. So in that case, really, there's no expectation for an owner to go out and talk to a player for the most part. Again, every situation is different. But if I'm the Mets, I'm the general manager, and these rumors are out there that Verlander's in the trade market, and I know that I'm not going to trade him. At least the chances are remote. I'm going to go and tell Justin, this is not true. We're not doing this. Okay. So what you're hearing is just pure rumor, and there's no legs to it. So you want to make sure you relay that to the player. Now, on the other hand, okay, just like my other comment just a few minutes ago, if there's a remote chance that there might be a trade possibility, because sometimes it's hard to say no on the right deal, then in that case you probably don't want to tell Verlander, hey, I'm gonna we're trying to trade you, because you're probably not really pushing it hard. You're just kind of feeling things out and see where they fall. In the Mets case, like for me, if they're trying to win every year. They're spending all kinds of money. I would think if they're going to try to win next year, it would be a good idea to keep Verlander around for one more year, because he is a bulldog. He's the best of the best. He's got pride. He's obviously He's a future Hall of Famer. He's one of those guys that wants to be in that World Series, wants to be in the limelight, wants to be the guy. Even though he's had a long career, he's made a lot of money, he's got a lot of accolades, he's not just going to sit back and say, okay, I'm happy with that. He'll want to continue. To your point, he likes L.A. I'm sure to say New York, and there's no reason to trade him if you're trying to win, and he's one of the best players in baseball. So, but going back to it, if there's a team out there all of a sudden makes a big push and offers you something that's hard to refuse, and at that point you kind of have to regroup. But if I'm trying to win and I'm the Mets and I'm trying to show my fan base, okay, I'm keeping Verlander, I'm probably going to trade Scherzer or something to that effect.
So we just saw David Robertson get traded to the Marlins. They're pretty much their best closer for two prospects. We don't know what they're going to do. They're young kids at 18 and 19 years old. Like you said, they are prospects, and I agree with you 100% totally on that. But my question to you is, how do you feel about trading within the division, especially to a team that, could make a good run here in the Marlins?
Dave Robinson is not going to come back and bite the Mets in the butt at all. It's a great move for the Marlins for right now. They need him. He's a good pitcher. He's been pitching very well. And that's not going to hurt the Mets for next year. They pick up a couple of prospects. They can regroup and get another reliever for next year. David Robertson is not, even though he's a great reliever and actually even closes games and all. He's not Verlander. He's not a starting pitcher. It's two different animals here that we're talking about. So one is a good trade for the Marlins and the Mets. And in my opinion, that Verlander would not be that kind of trade.
But how about within the division? Were you ever opposed to that, or it didn't matter to you?
I mean, right now, the Mets aren't going to win. So it's just they're going to help the Marlins out for the short term. In the long term, it's not going to hurt the Mets. So in this case, it's not even a subject that you worry about.
Understand.
So you would never even.
If I was still trying to win this year and we had a chance, there's no way I'm going to help out the Marlins. But at this point, they're two separate worlds.
They are in two separate worlds, but I think there's never any thought about what about if these two prospects pan out and they come back and haunt us, or as a GM, are you thinking that could be 5 years from now? I'm not even going to be around.
Believe me, there's times where you think, hey, these guys are so far away. When the further away a prospect is, the tougher. The less chance of them making it. That's why you see these trades. It's a rarity you see a really top prospect that's in AAA or even AA get traded. It's usually rookie ball or A ball, because I can't tell you how many times you've seen guys have great years in rookie ball and A ball, and they hit AA and they hit a wall. And they can't get out of there. At the very most, sometimes they get to AAA. So that's kind of like the norm. So when you're trading from rookie level A ball, it's really it's not that high of a risk. And to my point, before also is the team that's making those trades, that's trading away those players. They know those players better than anybody. And again. Sometimes when you're trying to win right now, and the Marlins have a good team, they got a good shot, and it's a young team, they're going to be good for a long time, and they have good young players. It's not a high risk in my opinion. Are you guys frozen again?
You got us there, Al?
Yeah, I get. Sometimes you guys freeze. I don't know why.
We're back.
Okay.
About what you think the Orioles should do. This is one of the best teams in baseball right now. They are young, they're exciting, and their farm system is loaded with players that are very close to the big leagues, and we're seeing them call a prospect up like almost every week. Now, in the offseason, they needed starting pitching. They basically decided to skip that besides a veteran at the back end of the rotation in Kyle Gibson. Okay, now you're looking at them this year, and the glaring weakness for them is still starting pitching. They're in like the 18th to 20th range, I think, in ERA. They don't eat up a ton of innings. The back end of their bullpen's been awesome. So, again, we're at the same conundrum for them at the trade deadline where I'm sure they were trying to save money in the offseason. You pick up a guy, you only have to spend money on his contract for the rest of the season. Don't you think if you're sitting in that front office right now, you have to be super aggressive for a team also that was rebuilding, tanking, right, for 6-ish years. Now, here they are. There are teams in the American League that are a little down right now, including teams in their own, like the AL East is good, right? But the Red Sox should be better in a couple of years. The Yankees are a little down right now. Don't you think this is the time for them to be shopping at the very high end of the market and not saying, we've worked this hard to build this up and we don't want to trade anyone away? I'm like, you have so many prospects. So to me, this is the team that I've got my microscope on more than anyone else. What do you feel about it?
I agree with you 100%. They like the Marlins are an up and coming team. They're going to be good for a long time. They have a good farm system, and it all started even with the previous regime, and now it's just gotten even better. So, to your point, yes, you can make a trade for a guy like Lorenzen with the Tigers, okay, and not give up huge, your best prospects. And again, going back to you're going to your lower levels and you're trying to be creative and rookie ball, A ball type of guys and create a package that's enticing to some teams that are still trying to add those kind of players to their system. So there's opportunity for the Orioles for sure to make a solid trade in acquiring pitching. Meanwhile, I wouldn't go crazy and give up, your top guys. Definitely not any of the major league guys. And if you do acquire an expensive pitcher, he's got to come with years, of control. And then in that case, obviously, then it would benefit you at that point. So, but to your point, yes, they should be aggressive. The pitching is always expensive, either via trade or free agency. They've been good at acquiring, signing players through the draft, and now internationally, they've actually done a lot better in the last few years, where they didn't have anything at all before. So they will continue to develop their own pitching. But meanwhile, just like every team, you're going to have to go out there and acquire some pitching to keep this up. And they should, because they have a very good team with a legitimate chance to get into the playoffs and actually win. It's not just trying to get into the playoffs, it's actually getting in there and then winning.
All right, so let's finish with your former ball club, the Tigers. They are one of those clear-cut sellers. And it's interesting. A lot of those relievers are pitching really well for them. So, whether it's an Alex Lang or a Jason Foley, Tyler Holton name has popped up, even though a lot of them have control. Then there's Michael Lorenzen pitching really well. And Eduardo Rodriguez is very tricky because he's got that option where he pitched really well. Then he went down on the IL. I know there were a lot of issues last year, off the field where he missed time. So what do you think the Tigers are going to do? And then especially specifically on Erod, do you think that it could be tough to deal him because you just never know? It's the same with Stroman. Like, what if he gets hurt in the next month and then stays into his contract for years and a team like, say, the Orioles has to now cover all that money?
Well, with Rodriguez, his contract is pretty friendly, and he's pitched very well this year. I think the problems that he had last year, and I know those problems very well, I won't talk about them. I'm pretty sure that's well over with at this point. And so, and I know players still in that team and players that were on that team that are friends with him. So those issues with him are gone. He's having a good year. It's actually a very good contract for his level of talent and his performance. So you're not overpaying as far as salary-wise if he decides not to opt out. That's why I would be shocked. As long as he doesn't get hurt this year, the rest of the way, he continues to pitch the way he's been pitching, and particularly if he gets traded to a contending team and pitches in the playoffs, he's going to opt out. I would not. I mean, I can't see it any other way, to tell you the truth. So I think a team that's acquiring him would look at acquiring him knowing or thinking, okay, this is going to be a rental because he we're acquiring him because he's a good pitcher. We feel he's going to continue to pitch well. He's healthy. The guy's a horse, really. And so I'm going at it as I'm getting a rental because I do believe he's going to opt out, which he should at this point if he continues to do that. So that's my opinion on Rodriguez.
I like it. Al, awesome to have the insight this time of year, especially. Enjoy the rest of this trade deadline, and obviously he doesn't have to be break. You've been in the biz for a long time, so we appreciate it, and we'll catch you again soon.
All right, my pleasure, guys. Good luck.
Minute game time right now. If you hit up the app, gametime.co, or go looking for last minute seats. It's hot out there, I know, so maybe you're looking to go retractable roof action. But also in the evening, it cools down a little bit. Last minute tickets, the only place to go is Game Time. They've got the best prices, period. So where are we going tonight? I've got a few games in mind, but curious to see. I know where Todd Father's going. Could that be the most obvious pick for Todd Father, hitting up Game Time and picking out a little flash deal for?
Where am I
Can
going?
I guess?
Well,
Can I give it to you, or you
don't
wanna
guess. Don't guess.
let him go?
Let the man. You're not his dad. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I have a
Appreciate that.
prediction.
Well, I would like to hear it because I could say it and you'd be like, I knew it, and it couldn't be it. So what were we
No,
thinking?
he's not a liar. He's not going to lie.
No, I'll give you the prediction. Aaron
I
Judge is coming back tonight.
Yeah.
Yankees,
No,
Orioles.
I'm not going there.
Not interested in seeing Judge's return.
No,
Okay.
I want to go. I want to get away from home a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm going to leave. I'm going to go flying out to. I'm going to fly.
You're at the casino.
to-
You're
I'm
far
going to
from
Toronto.
home.
Toronto's got a casino out there. I want to see Giolito play a little bit. Let's see him play with his new ball club. See what he's got. What kind of cojones he's got out there. Let's go. I'm going to Toronto.
Nice.
I'm going out there. I'll hit up the Bet MGM app when I'm out there, and we'll have some fun. I've seen the Yankees a lot this year.
I think he said that just to,
despite you.
yeah, to
He
pull
knows
me away.
that's a great game to go watch.
Yeah.
First place Orioles. How many times have the Orioles come into Yankee Stadium as in first place?
Reverse it though, but yes,
it's in
they're in
Baltimore.
What did I
Camden.
say? I'm sorry. How
Yeah.
many times have the Yankees come in to Camden Yards and like, oh man, we're looking up at these guys in the division.
Not in a long time.
That's all right. You're not going.
Where are you going?
Philly Pitt.
Ooh.
Pittsburgh on a weekend in July, and it's Wheeler versus Keller. It's going to be a crammed house. I don't care if Pittsburgh's not good.
I don't think it will be.
Place is going to be electric. You don't think it'll be?
I think there'll be more Philly fans.
I didn't say there wasn't.
I don't think it's going to be.
You think I'm a
electric.
Pirates fan
I
just
don't
because
think
they
it's gonna
called
be
me up for my
electric.
first big
It's
time?
Mitch Keller's last start as a Pirate.
No chance.
Okay,
don't,
that changed.
Don't
You're right.
do that.
You're right.
No, it
You're
shouldn't be. He should be there for the long term.
It's gonna be
Finally, a dude that they
35,000
developed
plus.
on their own to be
And
what,
it's doing well in
one
the big leagues.
potential.
Yeah.
He's
They haven't
pitching-
screwed him up.
Yeah,
Where
They
you
you know
haven't-
the
going?
ERA is 4, but the stuff's really good. Like
Yeah.
when the Pirates are ready for the playoffs again in a year or two, he can be game 1 or 2. That needs to be kept. They don't pay anyone besides Brian Reynolds. He needs to stay.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed?
Fair. And they need to make sure they don't screw it up. Pitching
Thank you.
coach there, don't try to reinvent a pitch.
Don't.
Just tell them, go out, throw strikes.
By the way, I'm in the app right now, so let's run through it as we talk you through game time. I can get you seats in Pittsburgh tonight for
Cheap.
20.
20
20,
bucks?
baby. 20 to get in.
We're not
20 to
taking
get
it.
in.
We're not taking the cheapest seat.
You can get good seats on there for cheap. It's really
Lower
good.
bowl, I mean,
Need
I'm
that.
in the 40 range behind home
Need
plate.
Getting a foul ball.
That's hot.
Need a foul ball.
$41 flash
Did you
deal
see who caught a foul
down
ball?
the third baseline.
In
As you can
Pittsburgh?
see
Gong.
what game time can do for you. What?
Did you see who caught a foul ball in Pittsburgh? An ex-player.
Jung Ho Gong.
Jung Ho Gong.
Your
Do you want
boy.
to see Jung Ho Gong? He's a big dude. He's out there in Pittsburgh probably tonight too.
Catching
So
foul balls.
you're looking at game time and the killer last minute deals that you can get there. And the game time guarantee also means you don't have to go anywhere else. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, they're going to credit you 110% of the difference. Okay? Also, if the game suddenly gets rained out or anything like that, they're much better than everyone else on cancellation, event cancellation protection, it's called. Job loss protection, too, if times are tough. Forget planning months in advance. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use code FTLive, $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. You see the little rumor flying around right now about the Dodgers?
This is like the first.
Oh.
The first of the first for us. Tuesday, this is going to be happening like
all the
crazy.
time. Yeah. By the way, on Tuesday, we're going to be on for 1 billion hours. Just letting you all know. Ken Rosenthal says the Dodgers are close to an agreement to acquire Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly. Wow. Also, okay, we spoke to Lance yesterday. Were the Dodgers on his list?
I think it was one of them.
Yeah, I think
They're
so.
on his no trade
one of
list,
his-
so
Yeah.
he's getting something. He's getting something back
Wow.
to waive it. No?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that he has. He even kind of alluded to it. He doesn't have a ton of clout like he would other years. He
Sure,
was talking
yes.
about
He's had a
he
tough
needs
year.
to play the second half to show teams and show the team that he gets traded to what he's worth. But how? Like, let's say the Dodgers overpay for this haul right here. We'll never look at it the same as the Angels overpaying for their haul. We have predisposed ideas of what teams can do, and when we have those predisposed ideas, if Noah Syndergaard goes to the Dodgers, we're like, oh, they're going to figure him out. But he left the Dodgers, so everyone's like, oh, weird trade.
Listen, they just keep bringing people back that they used to have. I mean, how many times do you see that happen often in trades like that? I don't think I've seen it. Like Kiké and now him. I mean, Kelly. I mean, that's unbelievable.
It's funny you mentioned that. Kiké Hernández happens to be on the line right now. So let's get to him on FT Live. Charlotte's Web Player Access, sponsored by Recreate, connecting us with Kiké Hernández of the Dodgers. How does that sound?
Sounds good. And thanks for the update on those guys coming over or about to come over. That's freaking huge.
Are you texting Joe Kelly right after and being like, dude, we're about to be friends again?
1,000%. I was about to yell at my wife to tell her because she's probably going to be excited. She loves Ashley Kelly, so that's going to be huge for her. But I wasn't sure when I was going to come on, so I didn't want to get caught off guard yelling at my wife, telling her that Joe was coming as well.
We encourage yelling. We encourage like kids running through, so don't even worry about that.
He can take 30 seconds off right now. Like, we could kill time. They always tell us we talk too much on this show. Like, if you want to just holler and say, honey, Joe Kelly is coming back to LA just like me.
And Mariana, Joe Kelly viene. That's it.
Let's go. Great. I love that. So take me through what it's like to return to a ball club. Like, from the moment you first got word, did you have any inkling that this was going to happen, or did you kind of learn the news when everyone else did?
I mean, I had an idea. I mean, I figured that, with the year that I was having and being on the last year of my contract and, diminished playing time, that it was a high possibility that I was going to end up being traded. And, you hear things, your agent gets calls, grandparents read on Facebook, things like that. And, I delete my Twitter off my phone during the season to not get caught up with anything like that. And I learned the day of the trade around 2:00, 2:30 or something. Haim and AC let me know that the trade was pretty much in the 1 yard line, and it was up to complete the medical exchanges. And I guess since there was money involved, the commissioner's office had to approve. So that process took a couple hours and allowed me to say my goodbyes and wait for the media to be out of the clubhouse before I started packing, since the trade wasn't official yet. And from there on, it was all as quick as it could be. Andrew called me and he's like, hey, I need you to get on a flight at 9:45. We have a lefty pitching against us tomorrow, and you're familiar with that lefty, Kikuchi, so we need you to get on this flight possibly tonight so that you can be in the lineup tomorrow. And that's how it happened. I showed up and just saying what's up to everybody again, seeing a lot of old faces and not just staff, clubhouse staff, and all that, but also like stadium employees. Everybody it was good to see familiar faces, and with it being a day game, it all happened really quick. I wasn't really knowing what was happening. I got caught in like the third or fourth inning looking around, and I was like, man, is this like, am I dreaming? What is going on? I had a Red Sox uniform yesterday, and I'm here in Dodger Stadium with a Dodgers uniform again. This is so weird, but it's exciting, man. It's exciting to be back. I really hadn't thought too much about it on Wednesday when it happened, but as I had a day off to sit down and think about everything that happened. I needed this. I needed this just because my last year as a Dodger was on an empty stadium, and the fans have always loved me here. Like I'm one of their kids, so it's good that I get to finish the second half in front of fans and jump into a playoff race, and hopefully we can win this division and go deep into October.
Yeah, we were talking to Ross Stripling the other day, and he talked about, we asked, hey, what is Kiké probably going to do? And he said, basically, you're going to do a little dance, a little twerking over there, and then basically you got back in there, and all of a sudden you did a little twerking too as well.
We're going to run it before he answers. Let's run it. Your former teammate Kiké Hernández going back to the Dodgers. What do you think he does first thing when he walks into the clubhouse?
Knowing Kiké, I would guess he walks through the threshold of the locker room, drops whatever he's carrying, and he twerks.
A few moments later.
He'll start dancing. They'll probably even play a song for him as he walks in, and he just starts dancing and having a good time. He is full of energy. One of the best teammates I've ever had. I think whatever his entrance is going to be, it's going to be high energy, and everyone's going to love it.
Wow.
When you know.
Phenomenal.
Was that pre-coordinated?
No, I actually saw that interview yesterday. I was dying laughing because I was like, yep, that's stripped to a T, and that's me to a T. So that was perfect.
That's really good. And what was the reaction when you get back in there for the first time, and you're also coming back to a team? It's not like the Rays where you feel like it's a completely different team, and the guys will even say that. Like we had Glasnow on last week, and he's like, yeah, we're used to turnover, like half the roster is different. Like the Dodgers have plenty of dudes that you're saying hi to that are still there.
Yeah, no, there's still a lot of guys that I know personally. I know really well. There's some other guys that I never played with, but I played plenty against, like Shohei, Freddie, and then there's a lot of new faces as well. But it's still a great group. Coaching staff is pretty much the same. Clubhouse staff is the same. Kitchen trainers, they're all the same. So it was almost like I never left. It's been 3 years, and it felt like forever. But then once I walked in those doors, it felt like it was yesterday. So it was great, to just plug myself in that locker room and get to the dugout and go to the lineup card to see who the umpires are, to make sure I call everybody by their names and say what's up. And when I'm coming back from that, they're greeting me with a little song. And when I hear music, I can't help myself but start dancing. My ass starts shaking and shit, and I can't help it. So that's what happened.
Yeah, it's not your fault. It's the music. I understand how it is. That's fun.
Yeah.
So now we got to go into, you get traded. How's the wife doing? Is she doing okay with it? Because she left her best friend, but she's got more best friends. Is JT more sad or less sad than she is that you're leaving, and the wives? How's that all going?
And it's she's going through it the same as I went through it, and kind of still going through it, but at the same time, she's coming back to a familiarity. It's not like we're going on a new team where we don't know anybody. She knows plenty of wives. She knows plenty of people that take care of her. Well, at the stadium, the family room people are still the same. So in that sense, she's happy. She's at peace with it, I guess. The problem is now she's got to go back to Boston in a couple of days and figure out all the moving stuff on her own. We have some friends that are not on the team. We have some friends in Boston that are just our friends that we became friends with by living in Boston that are going to help out. My dad's flying out to help her out and fly across the country with a 2-year-old. That's really easy to fly across the country with a 2-year-old. And then we also have 2 dogs. So we're going to fly out some people to help her out. And luckily, we have some former friends that still have places in LA, like Rich Hill, and that's where I'm going to be bunking in for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
So when you did get traded, Cora actually came out and said he kind of wished basically you didn't play in the World Baseball Classic and you would get more playing time at shortstop. I felt like there was a little, I don't know if it was bitterness. I don't know if it was a mistake. I mean, what do you take of that? And was there talks before that, before the WBC?
No, I understand why he said it. I didn't know he said that, but there was no talks about it. He is a fellow Puerto Rican. He understands how much it means for us to represent our country. Is just we neither me or him expected those 2 weeks of the WBC to affect my defense at short the way it did, and those are things that happen, and there's nothing we can do about it. I guess the it's just shit that happens, and I mean, I could have stayed back in spring training, got hurt, and missed half a year. Those are part of the game, and I don't regret going to WBC. Of course, those are decisions that you make beforehand, and I will never say no to representing my country, and that's just how it goes.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, I mean, and you only get that every 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
WBC
Depending.
action.
Yep.
It's 2 freaking weeks.
You got to play for your country, man. I
Hell
love
yeah.
it.
Hell yeah. All right, so tell me about the weather change. As you know, you spent some time in Boston. Right now, whatever, but in the fall, you'll be in LA now. Does that excite you?
Yeah, man. I mean, it would have excited me if it was in April, but it's hot in Boston and it's hot here. And we played a day game on Wednesday, and of course, Boston is way more humid than LA, but I was sweating like I was in Atlanta, Georgia on Wednesday. It was really hot. There was a heat wave going on, and I think it's really hot today as well. And I like when it's hot. It was hot in Boston, but it gets cold really quick in Boston. Mid-August, it starts getting cold again, and I'm looking forward to not having to wear sleeves underneath.
Hey, here's a little different question. When you go back to LA, do you have a place there? Do you have to
No,
find?
he just said he's staying at Rich Hill.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I take it back.
But Hill's on the Pirates. I actually wanted to get a follow-up, though.
Yeah,
I want to
go ahead.
tag team with you. So Hill's on the Pirates.
Yes.
Is it an empty house? What's the situation there?
Actually, we got lucky. He was renting the place, and the people that were renting the place, their lease expired about 2 weeks ago, so it's an empty house right now. So we get to move in, and we'll see what happens. Maybe Rich Hill comes to the Dodgers, and we can be roommates. I don't know. We'll see.
That was who would
we're into bringing everybody back.
Yeah, that's true.
Bring them all back. I'm sure Rich Hill's place is big enough. Like, let's get a roomie situation.
Kumbaya.
Who would you choose right now on your Dodger team to be roommates with?
Trace Thompson. I'm looking forward to seeing him back. He's on a rehab assignment. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing him again. Barnesy's one of my boys. We got traded to the Dodgers together. So his wife, my wife are really good friends, and we have kids that are the same age. So that would be great. And I guess we got one more empty room. Who could Chris Taylor? Chris Taylor would probably be the other guy.
Nice. And who else, playing off what you're saying, the whole reunion tour for the Dodgers, who else do you want? So we've got Hill. JT just left, and he was in tears with his emojis. Who else do you miss, from your last days with the Dodgers?
Chase Utley, David Freese.
Wow. So you're doing the comeback.
Yeah, it can be
tour
tampering.
now.
It can be tampering.
True, right. You're not supposed to. Well, you can talk about guys, but right, you're not supposed to bring up who you want and all that. Which your teammates, we've had a lot of them on lately, have done a nice job of with the Ohtani conversation. And he's not being moved, so now we're okay. There's no tampering anymore. He's not being traded. That's official.
Yeah, I heard I was gonna go to the Angels first, but then at the last minute they regretted not. The Angels said no, we can't trade Ohtani straight up for Kiké, so we're gonna have to nix the trade, and I ended up going to the Dodgers.
Breaking news right here on FT Live.
I would say that's a steal.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
Did you hear anything else? Had you heard about any other teams? Now that you actually are traded, obviously you're with the Dodgers for the rest of the season. Did any other names or teams pop up?
I heard there was a team in California as well that wanted me. I don't know. I'm not gonna say which name, but it has a couple of ex-teammates on that team, so I think that team wanted me as well.
I knew it was Oakland. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm pretty sure Kiké has not played with anybody on Oakland. I'm gonna take the under on that one.
No, I don't think so. Yeah,
There's
no
nobody
teammate there.
Veterans. I can name. There are so few veterans on Oakland. I can name them all for you right now.
I played
there's
with
5.
one. I played with one of the people in Oakland.
I can name them really quick. Trevor May, Jace Peterson,
Is Seth Brown?
Rooker.
He's
Who?
not a veteran. Rooker's not a veteran.
Tony-
Okay, well,
You're
he's
just
a veteran
naming
on Oakland.
Oakland plays.
Tony Kemp.
Oh, you were with the Astros together, right?
No,
Yeah, right.
I mean if instructs counts.
Oh, that counts.
For
Some of
Eric,
us only
it
ever
does.
get instructs.
It counts for Eric.
Yeah, it counts for me.
All right,
Hey,
then,
Kiké,
yeah, that was not the team.
on that front, what do you think about the Oakland situation and just that they might not have a team after this year? Like, okay, we had Ross on the other day, and he said the A's actually might play in San Francisco next year because they don't know where they're playing next year because now that they're basically officially leaving, he's like, are they going to be in Reno? The ballpark doesn't open up for like 4 or 5 years. So it's kind of crazy. You're on that team and you don't know where you're going to be. And Ross has been through that because remember, he was right with Toronto where they had to play in
With the
Buffalo.
Buffalo Blue Jays and Dunedin Blue Jays. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not ideal, is it?
No, it's definitely an unfortunate situation, not just for the fans. Obviously, the team with that much history, and I played there when that team was good, and that place gets banging, that place gets rocking, and it's a really fun place to play. And even though it's the facilities are not great, whatever, it's still a really fun place to play in. And of course, it's unfortunate, but it's just an unfair situation for the players just to be a part of the team that you don't know where they're going to be at next year. You don't know how to go about, spring training housing, in-season housing. Some of these cities, it's not that easy to find a place to live in. And I don't know. It's just a very unfortunate situation. And hopefully they can get that resolved really quickly.
Hey, last question from me. Have they given you an inkling? Hey,
Yo,
sorry about that.
My connection
I
was
went out for a
breaking
second.
out. Yeah.
They given you an inkling of where they want you to play, or have they said anything, or just said, "Hey, be ready for anything"?
So I had a conversation with Doc. They said the plan for now is to start against lefties, be ready to come in late in the game to play defense, be ready to come in mid-game to pinch hit when there's a left-handed pitcher coming in. So for now, it's just to face lefties and be ready to go for defense whenever they need me to go in. Probably going to be playing second and center, shortstop here and there. I don't know. The shortstop situation might change now that we just traded for Ahmed Rosario, but that's the plan for now. And like I've done for many years, I don't have an issue moving around from here to there. So just ready for whenever, probably starting tonight against the lefty, and then from there on, just ready to go in at any time, at any position.
Is there a fierce rivalry right now with Ahmed Rosario coming to the party too? And they're like, he can hit lefties and he's super versatile. Like, how's that relationship going to go when you got a player like that coming in at the same time too? That I'm saying it jokingly, obviously. Like, you guys are adding a lot of pieces right now with LA, and they're doing more than most teams, I would say. Where LA, I would say, doesn't have as many holes as most teams, but you got to give credit to a team that's doing this, right?
Yeah, for sure. As far as the situation between me and him, I have no problem. I know Ahmed a little bit. We played in Japan together in 2018 when we did the All-Star series or whatever. And I guess if I create a rivalry with Ahmed, I'm going to have to create a rivalry with Mookie that he plays shortstop, second base now. And I'm going to have to create a rivalry with CT, who I've been friends with for so many years that he basically does the same as I do. So, I guess I'm going to have a lot of rivals in the same team.
There seems to be a trend. The Dodgers have a lot of versatility.
And wins.
And a lot of dubs, yeah. Kike, have fun, man. It was great catching up with
Thank you.
dude. Enjoy the ride.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you,
Good
guys. We'll do.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Kiké Hernández with us on FT Live. Great stuff. And hey, the Dodgers now might be a World Series ball club. So if you're trying to get there, Recreate, the official CBD of MLB, wants to send you to the 2023 World Series. Follow hello_recreate on IG and post a photo in your favorite baseball gear using the hashtag LivePlayRecreate along with the hashtag RC Sweepstakes. No purchase necessary. The sweepstakes ends July 31st and is open to legal residents of the 50 U.S. states and D.C. age 18 plus. For rules, visit charlottesweb.com/World Series. Recreate, the official CBD of Major League Baseball. So we saw that tweet right as Kike was coming on, but Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly.
Possibly.
No,
When Ken puts it out there, it's strong.
strong, quite strong.
Possible.
Yeah.
His words.
You know, my thing with Lance,
Ish does think so.
We'll have to tell that story.
you know
one day.
Lance is going to pitch well in LA. You know why?
Why?
First off, this year,
Defense.
he's got swing and miss stuff. That was part of it. He's got swing and miss stuff more than we've seen maybe ever in his career. He's picking up punch outs. So he's getting whiffs. The stuff is there, right? One part is the White Sox defense, not even close to as good as the Dodgers defense. The Dodgers ballpark is an upgrade for a pitcher over the White Sox ballpark, correct?
Yep.
And the Dodgers organization is light years ahead of the White Sox organization when the pitcher comes through there and they might say, hey, we love what you're doing. We're going to do a little bit of tweaking here with the pitch mix. We feel like you're almost there where you're getting the swing and miss, but you're still getting hit in certain parts. We see something in terms of how the pitches are being called. No?
Lance is a pitch to contact guy. When you don't have a good defense, you are not a pitch to contact guy. You go after the punch out. So I think that elevates it. And I think that's why if it is the Dodgers, if it is the Rays, if it is teams that really exploit those kind of things, they'll be salivating. They'll be like saying, hey, we only need 6 innings out of you tonight. I want you to punch out the world. We only need this out of you. And he's an innings eater too. He just can't eat as many innings when he's like, hey, I got to pitch to contact, and you're sitting there going, I don't know if I want to pitch to contact. I just saw player X not make a play. I'm going for the punch out.
And he's going to a winner. That's it. You go to a winning ball club, all of a sudden your mood changes, your body changes, your face changes, the excitement changes.
Wish your face would change.
Wait, what? Did you say that out loud?
10 minutes left. Keep it together. So I've got 2 things for you. Number 1, Brian McTaggart said the front runner for Verlander, according to one source, would likely be the Rangers. Another club said to be interested is the Astros, which we brought up to Avila earlier. But your thoughts, you'd either get a JV return or we knew the Rangers were going to be aggressive. I do think they still need at least another starter, and I'd like to see like a high-end starter. This would be the best starter available on the market.
No doubt. But that's a lot of money to take on, too, as well. So is there going to be some money that the Mets are going to take off of that, or is there going to be more prospects?
Rangers are rich, though. They spend. They're good. But I know what you're saying. I mean, the Mets might have to pay a little down. And this actually, well, let me ask you guys. Ready? We had the phone call before. I'll start with Topfather. I know he's going to like this. Okay, Steve Cohen on the line. You're JV. Ready?
Yeah.
JV, we have an agreement with the Texas Rangers. We're going to send you there if it's okay with you, okay? Let me explain something to you. There are no state taxes in Texas. You're getting paid a lot of money. There are a lot of state taxes in New York. You're going to make millions and millions of dollars more. And we'll throw some, and we'll have your option picked up. So this is an incredibly lucrative deal for you, and you're going to a team that is a playoff contender right now. And as you can see, our white flag is up. We are waving it, and we are done this year. And your career is at the back half.
Yeah, I'm not going to go because the pizza is just too good here in Brooklyn.
JV, the amount you're saving.
No, you're right.
You can buy pizza factories in Texas.
I'm going to send Joe's Pizza. My boy Sal, the owner of Joe's, he's going to make one in Texas for me. I'm out of here. Where do I sign? Let's go.
Let's go. See?
And you know who's really pushing this trade? If this trade happens, who's pushing it? Cohen, because as soon as Cohen pushes this trade through, you know what he does? He takes that money all in. Oh, here you go, Shohei. All of a sudden, they go to the top of the list.
No way.
Wow. Give me some.
Top of the
I
list.
thought you
think
were going to
they're
say
the
they're
top
going
of
to
the
pay off.
list. The Dodgers
not
are
saying-
going to match them with whatever they throw
I
at
I'm
them.
not saying
Give me.
they're going to get him. I'm saying they go to the top of the list of pushing it. Absolutely pushing it. And it's going to – yeah.
I thought you were going to say they were going to give Bobby Bonilla the rest of his money.
Oh, just take the Verlander money? No, they know they're making more holding his money. Bobby Bo's the one that's not making out on that deal. But anyway, we got more pressing issues.
We have news, multiple news items here to finish up with. Number one, that trade is done, as we said. If Ken puts it out there, and
gonna
he
happen.
even talked about this on his show, which is great, called Fair Territory. He basically said that when he says, I think it's happening, where I'm not throwing any other names out there, but some insiders will just throw everything out there, be like, oh, I think this could happen. I think this could happen. I think this could happen. Ken takes it a few steps deeper. He doesn't just throw random shit out there. It's this real. So just like he said it was a possibility, now Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly are with the Dodgers. So when Kiké Hernández told his wife that Joe Kelly is coming back and she can hang with his wife, it was real.
In Spanish, that was Scotty translating.
That was pro.
So it's happening. It's great. Like we talked about already with Lynn, and then another bullpen member in Joe Kelly to add to the mix for the Dodgers, who have had their bullpen issues this year. It was really bad. Then it got really good, but I still feel like they could use some help in that
They
department.
got Joe Kelly coming throwing 100-mile-an-hour cutters. Like, when did he start doing that? Like, I knew he threw hard, but Jesus.
He's had years where he does that.
Yeah.
He's kind of an up and down guy. He's one of those guys that's extremely talented, almost like an Evaldi kind of guy where you're like, whoa, I kind of forgot he had that kind of stuff. And that is one thing that the Dodgers were struggling with was their bullpen. And shocker, rich get richer.
Mm-hmm. And same with the other side of the country. It's confirmed. Aaron Judge is back tonight, baby. Big pickup for the Yanks. He's pretty good. Big pickup.
Love it. Let's go. It's go time.
You're
they
back.
Made the move. Judge is back. They
Back in
optioned
the New
Peraza,
York
who wasn't
groove.
hitting. And
Now batting for your New York Yankees, the captain, 99, Aaron Judge,
you know what's crazy?
99.
Some of the front offices, or at least from the insiders, are watching their teams really closely this week because they just don't really know what they've got. And I'm like, it's been 100-something games. You don't know what you've got. I truly believe that the Yankees are locked in their front office on this Yankees-Orioles series to be like, all right, are we legit? Judge is back now, which I think I think that's going too hard. Like, you should know what you've got at this point, even with or without Judge. But I really, truly believe that if the Yankees win the series, like let's say they take 2 out of 3, they're going to be like, all right, let's be more aggressive now. We're back, baby.
So you just said you think most teams know what they should know what they have, but you're saying that the Yankees don't know what they have?
No, I think there's other teams like this. I think the Cubs are like this. The Angels were just like this, where they won. I said that yesterday to Ken. I was like, I think the Cubs are kidding themselves because they're just beating some bad teams right now, and they think they're good, but they're not, and they're going to hold on to a couple assets that they could have gotten a lot for, and they're not a playoff team. With the Yanks, like on the other side, if they get swept by the Orioles, they might be like, you know what, we're holding. We're not going to do much right now. We don't feel like we're good. Which also, in my mind, is probably not what you should be doing. It's one of the best teams in the AL, and your superstar just came back.
What are they going to do? They're going to pick up a left fielder? Like, hey, we found a left fielder. Now we have Aaron Judge on one leg. Our lineup still doesn't hit well. Like what move can they make? Billy McKinney, we'll see you. Like, he was one of the more productive guys. Yeah, he's been swinging it, but
No, the Yanks fans want Bellinger. They're not getting him.
not getting him. He's
They
going to
might
the
get
Marlins. You
Grichuk.
just
That's
said
like
he's going
been
to
the
the Marlins.
classic name that's brought up for the Yanks, and he'd be fine. That's not going to change the world for Yanks fans.
Yeah, he might hit lefties.
Mm-hmm. You want to throw this rumor out there to finish here?
Throw it out.
Okay. Anita,
Don't get Kratz excited. though.
Anita
the
trade.
lead White Sox reporter, saying Phillies, White Sox in communication on a trade for Luis Robert. Whoa. Rick Hahn is reportedly, quote, enamored by Mick Abel and Justin Crawford. Nothing imminent, but the sides have discussed the deal. I don't buy it.
Boo that man.
That man just booed in the background? I agree. Nope. Don't need Luis Robert.
That's your best player.
There you go. Man wants to sell the team. We got all.
He definitely won his horse bet.
There's no way. If there's one, man, I guess the white day, whatever.
You wouldn't take him? Not for Abel?
No.
All right.
Pitching's too hard to come by.
You don't trade somebody named Mick. I love that name.
Mick Abel.
Mick Abel.
He's a good pitcher. He can throw the baseball.
He's a beast.
He can toss it. High fives?
Yeah. Let's slap hands. We didn't have time for it because there's too many trades and too many great guests, but just give me your quick thoughts on yesterday, especially you. You're a catcher. Ian Happ, backswing, his boy, they're friends. Wilson Contreras gets hit, he's bleeding, he leaves the game, and then Miles Michaelis goes after him multiple times. I like what you told me earlier about it, so you want to tell the world real quick?
I'd love to hear this because I want to go.
I don't need to. Oh, please go at me. No, I don't need him to stick up for me. Dude, Hap hugged it out, all that stuff. I think there is some retribution. I think you do need to throw at somebody. Not in the first at bat of like Hap's going to throw it. He's going to hit again. We'll get him in the 6th or 7th when your pitch count's at 95. You totally just screwed over the rest of the team by throwing at him. I get it. You know, he wants to stand up for his team, and Hap knew it was coming. Hap didn't even stare out there. He's like, yeah, thanks for hitting me in the butt. But now you're out of the game, and you cost me personally my parlay with Michaelis not staying in the game. But I'm just saying we're here. It's not what he's concerned about. But, no, I love that he stood up for him. You don't need to stand up for me as a catcher. Get him later and stand up. I need you to throw 95-plus pitches.
Let me ask you this, though. This happens a lot, the backswing. As a catcher, if that happened to you, are you hoping your pitcher does that, or are you like, all right, it was accidental. It is what it is?
No, I'm hoping something said. Like, you can't just sit back there and just be an absolute mannequin and just getting
But
dosed
how does
by
that
stuff.
happen, though? How does that backswing happen? Whose fault is that?
Hitter.
But maybe the catcher's too close?
Yeah, but you get hit all the time. You're always getting crunched. At least don't swing like that anymore. And you'd be like, what? Like, I did it. You know what you did. You're trying to let it eat. Don't let it eat quite as much. Like Ozuna when I think he hit Will Smith earlier in the year. Just say something. I don't know if you can stop it.
That's what I mean. How do I stop it as a hitter?
I don't know, but now you're in my head, just like Maldonado was in Simeon's head the other day. Didn't work out. Say something to Hap, but to me, in that situation, don't throw at him yet. Hap knows he's going to get hit.
I don't know why you would do that.
Wait. Just wait. Maybe he thinks this is the time he's going to get thrown at. And then, it stings.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, but I need you to stay in the game. I also need Wilson to stay in the game. Look, it's a cut on his head. Like, I need.
Well, you don't know. Really?
I don't know. Unless there's concussion issues.
That's what I'm saying.
Can you come back in?
That's like.
Can you come back in?
Are
you serious?
Not back into the game.
I heard the announcers were saying maybe he could come back in. I didn't know if that's
no. So what you could do?
Way.
No. They were talking about
you're
it.
saying, like, re-enter?
If they just look and I don't know.
No.
I was half asleep. Sorry.
No, you're exactly right. They were talking about it as he was walking off the field.
Oh, if he can just walk back
they
in?
would stitch him up and put him back in.
Yeah.
Yes. But he couldn't they couldn't be like, hey, Kinzer, you finish this inning. Willie's going to come back and catch the rest. No.
Well, MLB's trying to do that eventually with a designated runner, which is weird.
It's not going to happen.
Agree with that. What you got on your head?
Oh, trade deadline?
Yeah.
Biggest trade of my career. Had no idea it was happening. Kansas City Royals. I mean, changed my life. Got me some jewelry. Went from the Toronto Blue Jays. Got 2 rings from it. And my hair fell out. But other than that, it's pretty legit.
A lot of people would take that trade. World Series.
For your hair?
Winner? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden I became at the beginning of the season. I wasn't a veteran. I get traded. I was a veteran. I was a clubhouse presence guy. No, you wouldn't take.
I want my hair in my head.
You wouldn't take a World Series ring for.
Nope.
I think you're lying.
Because guess where that ring would be right now? Just in a little cubby in my house.
That's it.
I need my hair.
That's forever.
How about you?
I didn't
That
have a
sounds like a
choice.
poll question. Stay tuned. I'll give you my answer on Monday. It's going to be a poll question when we're back on Stadium. And I just want to shout out Adam Jones, who I learned from some of our fans is leading the charge at the Bird Bath Splash Zone in Baltimore. You know how they spray all the fans with water like when anything happens? Apparently he's there, and he's going to be on next week. So
Of course he is.
dude
He's
is just
everywhere.
living the dream.
He is everywhere. He is the ultimate why you play in the big leagues. So you don't have to get a legitimate job when you're done.
True.
You have one thing I was told before we go. Ump love for Derek Thomas.
Oh,
Did he call a perfect game?
no, it's not perfect. Look at this. If everybody can just look at this. He missed one pitch.
Oh,
One pitch. Do you guys know who Derek Thomas is?
nope.
Not a bit, do you?
Love it.
And that's okay.
That's
now
what
you
you
do
want.
know. That's what you want. You
I don't
want
want to know
people
who
to
he
know.
is because if the ones that stand out suck at their job. Sorry.
I wish we had CB Buckner's
86%.
86%, 29 missed
calls.
pitches.
Oh my god.
And I don't, and this is where I'm going to say I don't like when people are like, oh, robo umpires. I think there's a place for the human element. Send him to AAA.
Yeah, you got to get
That what Derek Thomas just did is almost a perfect game.
Yeah,
Okay, you're going to stay up in the big leagues for a little longer.
of course.
CB Buckner, what he did was like a 3-error, 0 for 4 punch outs, and he threw up on the mound.
Yeah, terrible.
Like, you can get sent down for stuff like that. Like, CB Buckner, clean it up.
I'm okay with guaranteed contracts, but you got to send him down. He's got to refresh. He's got to get back on top of his game. You know,
You can do
pay him
well
Major
down there
League
and get
salary.
called up.
I'm with you. I'm
For
with
sure.
you. Hey, so it is trade deadline week on Monday. Ken Rosenthal is back. Bob Nightingale joins us, and Jim Bowden, like 3 of the top insiders in the industry, breaking down trades for us. The trade deadline itself is on Tuesday. We are on from 1 to 6:30 Eastern, FT Live. We are bringing on anyone that is relevant in the trade world to talk through everything that goes down up until that point. It is going to be wild. Why? Because there haven't been that many trades yet. So there's a lot to do between now and then. Please, GMs, hold your trades over the weekend. Thank you very much. And clap it up. Thanks for everyone here at Borgata. Appreciate you in Atlantic City. We're here every other Friday at 1 o'clock Eastern time. We will see you soon.
I'm